meeting. Okay. Hare Krishna, can you hear me?
Yes, Prabhu, we can hear you.
Okay, thank you. Unfortunately, I'm not in the temple today, so I'm speaking from home. All right. So let me first chant Jaya Radha for a minute. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadada Srivasadi Gaura Bhatta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada Jaya Guru Deva Jaya Guru Deva Guru Deva Jaya Guru Deva Jaya Om Vishnu Paramahansa Parivraj Kachaja Stuta Tarasada Srimad His Divine Grace Abhay Charan Vrinde Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai Namachaya Brahmachaya Shri Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem Se Keo Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasari Gaura Bhatta Vrinda Ki Jai Shri Shri Radha Damodara Gopa Gopinath Shama Kund Radha Kunja Govardhana Ki Jai Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai Mathura Dham Ki Jai Navadip Dham Ki Jai Ayodhya Dham Ki Jai Nilachala Jagannathpuri Dham Ki Jai Shidam Maipu Dham Ki Jai Ganga Mai Ki Jai Bhakti Devi Ki Jai Tulasi Devi Ki Jai Sama Vira Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Nitai Gora Premanande. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to the lotus feet of Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. Namo Shri Krishna Krishna Bhutari Shrimati Bhatti Swami Tinam. Namaste Krishna Padaya Prabhupada Shridatmani Shri Gora Karuna Shakti Bhakti Tedetina. Thank you. Again, yesterday, Prabhu, thank you for again engaging me in this service. So I first offer my obeisances to the assembled devotees and ask for your blessings to be able to say something for the benefit of everyone here. So today's reading is taken from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, Chapter 17, Text number 4. I hope I'm right, Yasudev.
That's correct.
All right, thank you. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Tatonika Sahasra Koti Vimananika Sankula Diva Yani Navata Antidu Mandalam Abhaya Brahma Sandani Nipatati. Word-to-word translation. Tata, after purifying the 7 planets of the 7 great sages, Aniha many, Sahasra thousands, Koti of millions, Vimana Anika with contingents of airplanes, Sankala congested, Divaya Nina by the spaceway of the demigods, Avataranti descending, Indu Mandalam, the moon planet, Avaya inundated, Brahma Sadhane to the abode of Lord Brahma, atop Sumeri, Pavata, Nipatati falls down. Translation and purport by Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. After purifying the 7 planets near Dhruvaloka, the poster, the Ganges water is carried through the spaceways of the demigods in billions of celestial airplanes. Then it inundates the moon, Chandraloka, and finally reaches Lord Brahma's abode atop Mount Meru. Purport. We should always remember that the Ganges River comes from the causal ocean, beyond the covering of the universe. After the water of the causal ocean leaks through the hole created by Lord Vamanadev, it flows down to Dhruvaloka, the poster, and then to the 7 planets beneath Dhruvaloka. Then it is carried to the moon by innumerable celestial airplanes, and then it falls to the top of Mount Meru, which is known as Sumeru Pavata. In this way, the water of the Ganges finally reaches the lower planets and the peaks of the Himalayas, and from there it flows through hardware and throughout the plains of India, purifying the entire land. How the Ganges water reaches the various planets from the top of the universe is explained herein. Celestial airplanes carry the water from the planets of the sages to other planets. So-called advanced scientists of the modern age are trying to go to the higher planets, but at the same time, they are experiencing a power shortage on Earth. If they were actually capable scientists, they would personally go by airplane to other planets, but this they are unable to do, having now given up their moon excursions. They are attempting to go to other planets, but without success. Om Gyana Tamaranda Shya Gyana Jana Salakaya Chakshu Mlitam Yena Tasmai Shugurave Namaha. Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pistaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Teta Swami Iti Namini. Namaste Krishna Padaya Prabhupada Shitatmani. Shri Gora Karuna Shakti Bhakti Teta Tinamini. Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pistaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namini. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nevashisha Srinyavari Pashatyadi Satarini. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shri Vasari Gaura Bhattavinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So thank you again for giving me this opportunity. So as we read, this particular chapter 17 is titled The Descent of the River Ganges. So we are seeing how, we are hearing how the source of the Ganges River is from the causal ocean itself. In other words, the causal ocean is the resting place of Lord Vishnu. And so a water that is coming directly from the causal ocean, we should then understand that it's no ordinary water. And per the advent of different incarnations of the Lord, we realize that always the Lord's pastimes are always intertwined. That is how it makes Krishna's pastime so like what do we call it? Nectarian to listen to, because they are so intertwined. As we read today, we understand that Lord Vamanadev, when he appeared to Bali and asked for 3 steps of land, and when Bali obliged to give him the 3 steps of land, then his first step that he took covered everything. And it is said that it was Lord Vamanadev's step that took over. He stepped over all the 3 wells, and then his toes hit the covering of the material world, and it pierced a hole through the covering. And so the waters from the causal ocean seep through that hole that the toes of Lord Vamanadev pierced, and it inundated this our material planet. But we could understand how, we also understand how this thing did not just happen, because Sage Bajirata had personally performed austerities to invoke the presence of the Ganges, because he had heard that the Ganges is so pure that if the Ganges flows through the land on which his ancestors are, then all his ancestors will be liberated. And after performing this austerity and invoking the presence of the Ganges, now you see how it's intertwined with the pastimes of Lord Vamanadev. This sage is performing his austerities to invoke the river Ganges. And then Lord Vamanadev asked for 3 steps of land from, what do we call it, Bali. And when Bali gave him the 3 steps, then his steps pierced a hole through the covering of the material world and brings down these Ganges. So we read in the purport the systematic steps by which the Ganges flowed into this material world. Because when Bhagirath asked Ganges to come, it is said that he was told that the strength of the Ganges water, if it flows into the world, is going to destroy everything. So how was he able to bring it? And that's how he approached Lord Shiva, and Lord Shiva agreed to get Ganges into his locks and then gradually let Ganges descend very peacefully on the earth planet so that she doesn't destroy everything. And so this systematic way of Ganges flowing down. So in today's text, we are hearing that uh, Ganges first descended onto Dhruvaloka, the postal planet, and then to the planets of the 7 great sages. And then it goes further to describe how celestial airplanes carried this water. Today's text is saying that, let me specifically read what Prabhupada is saying. I don't want to be speculating. He says, after purifying the 7 planets near Dhruvaloka, the poster, the Ganges water is carried through the spaceways of the demigods in billions of celestial airplanes. Then it inundates the moon, Chandraloka, and finally reaches Lord Brahma's abode atop Mount Meru. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada systematically explained the process that the Ganges is coming from the causal ocean, which is beyond the covering of the universe. After the water of the causal ocean leaks through the hole caused by Lord Vamanadev's toes. So Lord Vamanadev hits his toes to the covering of the material world, and the Ganges leaks through the foot of Vamanadev, which means the Ganges is actually flowing into this material world through the lotus feet of Vamanadev. What other pure thing can you ever achieve? A water that is washing the foot of the Lord before it descends into this material world. This is somehow or the other. We say it is not good for us to be in this material world. Yes, it is not good for us to be in this material world. We have to go back home, back to God. But the Lord is so merciful. The Lord is so, so merciful that he allows something so pure to come into this material world through his lotus feet to help us purify ourselves. In other words, so many arrangements has been made by the Lord for we, the conditioned soul in this world, to be able to get purification, somehow or the other, get purification. So it is said that once you bathe in the rivers of the Ganga, then you get such purification. The Lord is always arranging, somehow or the other, how we, the conditioned souls, can be able to make some little advancement towards his kingdom. He never leaves us alone. This is the merciful nature of the Lord. We, the living entities, we are not even recognizing the mercy of the Lord. Without the mercy of the Lord, no one can make any progress in this life. But the Lord is always constantly looking for up to us. He's constantly, he's constantly making provisions. He sets up different arrangement for us. But unfortunately, we don't even take advantage of this. And see, out of his causeless mercy, he descends again to come and give us his holy name. in the form of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He comes and he comes here to give us his holy names. And he tells us that by calling these names, we will be eligible to be able to go back home, back to Godhead. But even that, look, how many of us are trying to take the advantage of this great mercy of the Lord? We are not even taking advantage, even though it's freely made available to us. But we don't take advantage of it. This is how unfortunate we are, that even though we have been given the opportunity to so many facilities that can help us, but we are not taking advantage of the situation. This is how unfortunate that we are, that no matter what we are given, no matter what we are given, we are not taking advantage of the situation. Imagine you are there with your child, and no matter the opportunities that you give to your child doesn't take advantage of it. How would you feel? You're making so much arrangement for your child to go to school. You're making so much arrangement for your child to get good business, your child to do whatever he needs to do for his or her own benefit. And yet the child doesn't take no advantage of the situation. You as a parent, how are you going to feel? So similarly, look at the opportunities the Lord is giving us the opportunity to even get physical purification by dipping ourselves through in the Ganges. And he's giving us the opportunity for our internal purification by giving us freely his holy names. And all these things, we are not taking good advantage of it, the situation. In order to be able to, what do we call it? Purify ourselves and be able to go back to him and eternally enjoy in his kingdom. We are not taking advantage. This is how unfortunate we are. So, by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, Prabhupada has also come. Whatever mercy that the Lord has been making available, Prabhupada comes down and Prabhupada tells us, hey, why are you not taking advantage of all these things that the Lord has make available for you? And out of his Prabhupada's causeless mercy, Prabhupada is also somehow or the other explaining this mercy of the Lord in simple language for it to be able to penetrate into our ears. But yet, we are still not taking advantage of it. This is very unfortunate for us. So we should say that the Lord has never, not even on one occasion, left us by ourselves. He's always making the required, arrangements for us to go back home, back to God. And so it's up to us. It's up to us to live up to expectation by taking advantage of these situations in order to be able to finally qualify to go back home, back to God. Taking advantage of something means that you are trying to absorb, you are trying to take every single opportunity that has been afforded you. And in just by you, all you need to do is to try. And once you try, the rest of the job is done by the Lord. But even to try, we are not even trying. We are not even trying. This is very unfortunate. Very, very unfortunate. Instead of taking due advantage of all these situations, we are not making any effort. Sometimes we will pretend to be making effort, but how serious are we to take advantage of these situations? So we should always be very grateful, very, very, very grateful to Srila Prabhupada, that somehow or the other he's pushing us, somehow or the other, he's pushing us to be able to take advantage of these benefits that the Lord has given us. So I wouldn't take much of the time. I want some interaction over here, so I'll end here and open the floor for people to give their comments and their realizations. And if there are any questions, then we can take it from here. Hare Krishna. Any realizations or any comments?
Hare Krishna,
Hare
dear
Krishna.
Hare Chakra Prabhu. Thank you so much. Prabhu, we're hearing a lot about the glory of the Ganges. And we know that the Ganges flows through the area that is now called India. So, but I wonder, I have to express my doubt of how essential is it really for us to bathe in the Ganges? There's so many devotees in the world who never go there. I've never been there. And yet still there's a little spark of love of God somewhere in the heart. So is bathing in the Ganges really so essential as is described in this chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam? What do you think?
Yeah, there is a common saying that if Muhammad will not go to the mountains will go to Muhammad. You heard that saying, right?
No, I've never.
You've never heard that saying?
No.
That if Muhammad doesn't go to the mountains will go to Muhammad. There's this saying that you see, this is one of also of the mercy of the pure devotee. Even though physically speaking, the Ganges is situated in the land of India, but how fortunate! Look at it. It has so many aspects of it. If you read this particular chapter that we are speaking, before when the Ganges flows down, it says the Ganges is split into 4 branches. And if you go further and you read, you understand that all these 4 branches, they end up into the sea in the 4 directions: east, north, south, east, and west. In other words, somehow or the other, the powerful purified waters of the Ganges merges into the sea, no matter how. So wherever you are, somehow or the other, if even you don't get to take shower, what do we call it? Dip directly into the Ganges, the original flow of the Ganges. The Ganges is making itself available by entering the sea, putting its sacred water in the sea. And wherever you are, you can somehow or the other get the taste of the Ganges in the sea. But notwithstanding that, this dipping, according to the Bhagavatam, the Ganges has 2 aspects of itself. The external purification, which is by you dipping yourself into it to get the external purification, which will enhance your internal purification. And so the internal purification too is made available by the pure devotee of the Lord, like Srila Prabhupada. So it's like, let me put it in simple terms. It's like it is said that you always have to visit the holy places. This is one of the pillars of devotional service, that you have to go to the holy places like Mayapur, Vrindavan. Of course, it is very good if you physically appear in the holy places. But Srila Prabhupada is also telling you that wherever the pure devotee sets his foot at is also a holy place. And so, like me, for instance, I've also not been to India before. Can you imagine it? I've never gone to India. But Prabhupada says a place like Gita Nagari is as good as Vrindavan. Why? Because the pure devotee, like Srila Prabhupada himself, has established Gita Nagari. And he stepped his foot in Gita Nagari. So Prabhupada has the power to transform every single dirt on this earth into a place of pilgrimage. And he has done that for us in so many places. He says wherever his temples are like the embassies to the spiritual world. So by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, all these places are being transformed into holy places. And by the mercy of the Lord, the Lord is making available the Ganges, the presence of the Ganges River itself, by allowing the Ganges to enter into the four corners of the earth, by merging its waters into the seas in the four corners of the world, north, south, east, and west. So how can you ever say that the Ganges is not available for you to dip yourself in unless you go to India? It's all everywhere. That is how powerful the mercy of the Lord is. The Lord is always making arrangement for us. Those of us who are not able to physically appear in India, we are still have the opportunity to somehow or the other have a little tinge of the waters of the Ganges. Like yesterday, the question you were asking, let me ask you one question. If you go to the temple and you are giving Maha water from the altar, by every standard, you accept that this Maha water is directly the mercy of the Lord, right? Yesterday, are you still there? Hare Krishna?
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay, so if you are giving some Maha water from the temple and you come back home, and then the water that you bought from the store to drink, or even your tap water, you fetch some little tap water and you put a few drops of the Maha water in the water in your house. Does the water in your house also get purified?
I don't know, does it?
Yeah, that is how merciful the Lord is. If even you take one drop of water from the altar, from as Maha water, and you put it in any collection of water, just one drop of water makes that collection of water also become as sacred as the direct water on the altar. This is the mercy of the Lord. The Lord is always making arrangement for us. He makes things so simple. But unfortunately for us as devotees, we make things so difficult. Simple things. Instead of doing a simple, we also always want to make it complex. The Lord is so simple. And He's so merciful to us that He makes things so simple for us. All we have to do is to take advantage of it and we make a headway. So you have every opportunity to somehow or the other get the opportunity to have some mercy from the river Ganges. But are we taking advantage of it? That much I don't even know. But boldly I can say, yes, we are not taking advantage of this situation. So you don't necessarily have to go. Of course, if you go, I'm not saying it's not good to go to India to get a dip in the Ganges itself directly. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm also saying that irrespective of your situation, the Lord has already made the required arrangement that you can have the opportunity to have a little dip of the Ganges, no matter where you are. So you have that mantras. When you go to the altar, you put your hand, you make the required mudra, and you invoke Ganges into whatever water that you have. Ganjicha Yamuna Chaiva, Godavari Saraswati, Namadi Sindhu Kavali, Jelismi Sinindim Kuru. Then you invoke the presence of Krishna also, because the Ganges is always coming, going, side by side with the Lord, because the Ganges is flowing from the foot of the Lord. So if even you use the mantras to invoke the Ganges, you have to still chant the holy names of the Lord for it to get the full effect of the power of the Ganges River. Am I making some sense?
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
I appreciate your broad-minded perspective.
I think me and you, we should put our heads together to go to India.
Let's go.
Yeah. Jiva Pandit just returned and he said, "Oh, Prabhu, this is my first time going to India." And I said, "Oh, you are lucky. I have never been there myself." So now I see that there's another person who has not been there. So now my heart has been solaced. It's not me alone. I have a companion. So let's put our heads together and go together. Any other question or comments or realizations?
I have a question.
Okay.
I'm curious about something.
All right.
Wondering, listening to these descriptions of the Ganges and the explanation that the Ganges has become sacred and pure and potent by contact with the lotus foot of Lord Vamanadev, Parikram, and um, trying to understand why it is stated that way, because it seems to me that those waters should already be quite special, because Karnadakshay Vishnu is lying in that same water, completely immersed in that water. So um, it is doubly touched by Lord Vishnu, but it's already been in contact with Lord Vishnu. So why do we stress the importance, the value of it having contacted the lotus foot of Lord Vamanadev, and not mention the fact that Karnadakshay Vishnu was lying in that same water?
Yeah. Taraka, anytime Taraka wants to ask question, then I become a little bit scared because I'm thinking, how am I going to answer that question? And this is one of the questions. If Lord Vishnu is already lying on the causal ocean, how can we say that the water is not already pure? And then the emphasis on the issue that it is washing the foot of Lord Vamanadev, so it makes it extra pure. Of course, the causal ocean is already pure, and it becomes, more mercy is added to it once it is used to wash the feet of Lord Vamanadev. Let me bring it down. It's like the holy name of the Lord. The holy name of the Lord is pure. It's pure. And whoever hears it, whoever chants the name, get purification. So how do we also emphasize that if you chant the holy name of the Lord very attentively, then its pure nature becomes more effective. Something is pure already. The thing is already pure. So why do I need to be attentive for it to get the full effect of its purity? So in every situation, even though the thing is pure by itself, but when we make the channel through which that purity goes through, then it becomes the purity becomes more enhanced. Let me break it down to our everyday life. It's like when the water is coming from the skies in the form of rain, we see the pure nature of water coming in the form of rain. But immediately the water touches the earth, the dirt on the ground, How many people would want to drink that water that has come in contact with the dead? But it doesn't mean that the pure water is not there. It's not going anywhere. The pure rainwater has not gone anywhere. It's still inside the dirt, even though it has come in contact with the dirt. It looks dirty. It looking dirty doesn't mean that the pure water is not there. And so if we collect that so-called dirty water and we put it through the purification process, immediately it goes through the purification water. Then again, it separates the dirt from the pure water itself. So you again see the pure water right there. So similarly, even though something may be pure already, but once it again comes in contact with the lotus feet, I mean, the lotus feet of the Lord is the summum bonum of every realization. So Lord Vishnu is lying on the causal ocean. And then this water seeps into the material world. The material world now becomes like the, what do we call it? The dirt. So the pure water is still there, but the dirt somehow or the other is covering it. And the feet, the foot of Lord Vamanadev is like the purification system. Once it comes through it, it makes it so pure that no contamination in the material world can affect it. And that's why the emphasis is made once it touches the foot of the Lord before it enters into the material atmosphere. Then the Lord himself, the feet of the Lord himself is making sure that nothing is able to, what do we call it, contaminate this pure water that is already flowing, that in existence in the causal ocean. So if even the foot of the Lord have not touched it, the water coming from the causal ocean is pure. Yes, pure. But when it touches the foot of the Lord, again, it becomes, it's like we call it, how should we call it? Is a purity raised to the 10th power, or purity raised to the 100th power. So yeah, like the question you were asking, the thing is pure already, but once it touches the feet of the Lord also, then it's like Maha. We call Maha Prashad. Another example is like we offer the food, we offer food to the deities. Once the food comes out of the altar, we know it's Mahaprasad, food that has been touched by the Lord. But if the pure devotee of the Lord also touches the food before we get access to it, then it becomes what? Mahaprasad. Because the Lord, even though he has touched the food, but the Lord is saying that his pure devotee resides in his heart. His pure devotee is like that's verse in Chaitanya Charitamrita that says that worshipping of Lord Vishnu is considered to be the topmost worship of everything, of all worships. But higher than that is worshipping the servant of Lord Vishnu, which means that even worshipping Lord Vishnu, even though it's pure, but purer than that is worshipping of Lord Vishnu's servant. So the causal ocean is pure. But purer than that is when the causal ocean washes the foot of Lord Vamanadev. This is how interesting, how intricate, how merciful the Lord is, always making things so available for us so that we can easily take advantage and make a headway on our path to the spiritual world. Krishna is so merciful. Without the mercy of Krishna, nothing. There's nothing that we can do. Nothing. By ourselves. There's nothing that we can do. Nothing. Practically nothing. We need the mercy of the Lord. I was just deliberating a couple of days ago. Somebody was giving class on the African Forum, and he was describing all these things. And I was like, wow, just look at our existence in comparison with the Lord. Lord Vishnu breathes one breath of Lord Vishnu, creates Lord Brahma. And according to the Vedic literatures, according to Srimad Bhagavatam, when Lord Brahma is born, Lord Brahma has to live for 100 years. And the 100 years of Lord Brahma living is, by human calculation, 311 trillion, 40 billion years. Come and imagine it. Just imagine it. If this is Lord Brahma, only Lord Brahma's 100 years compared to our years is 311 trillion, 40 billion Earth years. Wow. So according to us, in comparison with Brahma, it's like Lord Brahma is considered to be eternal, because we cannot even phantom that number of years in our existence. But when it comes to the real eternity, Lord Brahma's existence is just one breath of Lord Vishnu. One breath. So this should show us how insignificant that we are. Like, for instance, you, Taraka Prabhu, when you are coming to the temple room, and maybe there is a group of ants on the road. A group of ants on the road, and these ants sees Taraka coming. And maybe one of the ants begin to describe Taraka Prabhu. One of the ants tries to describe Taraka Prabhu. Come to think of it, the ant on the floor. He looks up and he looks at Taraka's feet. How can the ant be capable of even describing you? What to think of the ant thinking that he can see your face? It's unthinkable of. Look at how tiny that ant is, trying to describe somebody like Taraka Prabhu. It's almost like impossible to do that description. But if somehow or the other, whatever description the ant is trying to make, if by some means it is amplified, it is connected to an amplify, then you can see how Taraka, you can hear all the glorification that the ant is giving you. So similarly, by the mercy of the Lord, he gives us his pure devotee, so that every little thing, tiny thing that we can do, which the Lord cannot even hear, the pure devotee will put it through the amplification system. And then when the pure devotee amplifies your message, then Krishna easily hears your message. Now, oh yeah, now through the amplifier of the pure devotee, I can hear this. And you make a headway. And that's why we are always dependent on the mercy of the pure devotee and the Lord. Other than that, there's nothing that we can do to enhance our path back home, back to God. Nothing. We only rely on the mercy of the pure devotee. Without the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, me and you, we are nothing. We are useless, insignificant beings. Krishna will not see us in any way. We need that mercy of the pure devotee of the Lord. Did that make some sense, Prabhu?
Yes, it makes some sense. I hope the ants are not wasting their time trying to describe me.
Huh? What did you say, Prabhu?
Pardon?
No, I asked whether whatever I've said makes sense.
Yeah, yeah. Yes,
Okay.
thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu. Yeah, I think I have 2 minutes, 2 or 3 more minutes. Does anybody has anything, any question again? Yeah, so please, let's all put our heads together because collectively, we can make a headway. It's like the example that I was just giving about the ant. If one ant tries to, make his presence felt by any of us, like Taraka Prabhu, you might not even see the ant. You might not. But if the ants, if they put their efforts together, and they become like 100,000 ants together, 100,000 ants together in your room, then Taraka Prabhu, you will realize that no matter what you do, you will recognize them. You will feel their presence. 100,000 ants, if they put their energies together and appear in your room, you will feel their presence. So similarly, as insignificant as we are, if we put our collective efforts together, then somehow or the other, Krishna will recognize us. He will see us. That is the power of devotional service. And that is the technique that Srila Prabhupada has given us. Prabhupada has given us very simple and powerful technique. Bring your energies together. And that's why he keeps saying that you can only display your love to me by what? By working together. So when we work together, then we can please the Lord. We can please the pure devotee, Srila Prabhupada. Then we can please Krishna. Togetherness is the secret of success. So by all means, we should put our energies together. And then Guru and Krishna will feel our presence. Single-handedly, there's nothing that we can do. Nothing. Nothing. We need the mercy of the assembled devotees. And that's why every day after we glorify the Lord, no matter what we do in the prima donna, recitation, we end it up by saying, all glories to the assembled devotees. Because it's the assembled devotees that the combination of the effort of the assembled devotees that will make the Guru and Krishna recognize our efforts. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Shri Radha Damodara ki jai. Shri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra ki jai. Shri Gaur Nitai ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. Vanja Kapatarubhya Shakri Pasundubhya Yuvacha Patitanam Pavanabhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaha. Hare Krishna.